There's a silent question that many of us ask ourselves in the dark. Why 3 a.m.? Why, in that quiet, sacred hour, when the rest of the world seems to be fast asleep, do our eyes so often flutter open, our minds beginning a journey we never planned? You lie there, staring at the ceiling, and perhaps you feel a little lonely, a little confused. I'm here to tell you, you are far from alone. And more importantly, this awakening is not a failure, not a sign that your body is broken. No, it's so much deeper than that. It's a message, a whisper from your body, your mind, and your spirit. Over the next 20 minutes, we're going to decipher 5 powerful messages hidden within that 3 a.m. wake-up call. Join me as we explore not just how to sleep better, but how to understand and honor the incredible journey you are on. The fading of the Sandman's dust. You're changing melatonin levels. The first message, and perhaps the most scientific one, comes from an old friend inside our brain. Think of melatonin as nature's own Sandman's dust, produced by our bodies to signal it's time to rest now. When we were younger, this little factory, the pineal gland, worked overtime, sprinkling a generous, steady layer of this dust to keep us soundly asleep all night long. But as we enter the golden decades of our lives, that factory naturally begins to slow its production. It's a normal process, just like our hair turning a distinguished silver, or the lines on our face telling the stories of our lives. This decline in melatonin isn't sudden. It's a gentle tapering off. You might still fall asleep easily at 10 p.m., but by 2 or 3 in the morning, when the level of this Sandman's dust hits its lowest point, it's no longer potent enough to keep you under. And just like that, you're awake. Not from a nightmare or a noise, but simply because the sleep switch has been gently toggled back toward wake. Let's think about Bob, a retired firefighter. His whole life he was used to sleeping like a log after a stressful shift. But at 72, he found himself wide awake at 3:15 a.m. He wasn't anxious or upset, just alert. At first, he blamed himself. What did I do wrong? Maybe I shouldn't have had that cup of tea. But once he understood this was a natural chemical shift, he stopped blaming and started adapting. This melatonin decline has a twin sibling, an increased sensitivity to light. In your younger years, you might have been able to sleep with the TV on. Now, the tiniest sliver of light from a digital clock, a street lamp peeking through the blinds, or even the glow from the phone you pick up to check the time is enough to tell your brain, stop production. It's almost time to get up. Our bodies become more sensitive instruments in our later years, which is both a strength and a challenge. So what can we do to work with this change? We can't force the factory to produce more, but we can create the perfect environment to make the most of every last grain of dust. Turn your bedroom into a cave. Make it dark and cool. Invest in some good blackout curtains. Use a small piece of black electrical tape to cover those tiny LED lights on your electronics. Treat your bedroom as a sacred sanctuary for sleep only. Establish a tech curfew. An hour before bed, say goodnight to the blue light from screens, the TV, the tablet, the phone. Blue light is melatonin's #1 enemy. Instead, pick up a book and read.
under a warm, amber-hued lamp. Create a wind-down ritual, a warm bath, a few pages of a novel, listening to some calming classical music. Anything that signals to your body the race is over for today. It's time to power down. Understanding this message isn't about surrender. It's an act of wisdom. You're learning to dance to your body's new rhythm instead of trying to force it to dance to a song it no longer knows.
The time traveler in your own bed. The great shift in your body's clock. The second message our body sends at 3 a.m. is a bit more subtle. It isn't about having less of something. It's about being earlier. Imagine you have a beautiful old grandfather clock inside you, a family heirloom that has ticked reliably for decades. This clock, known as your circadian rhythm, dictates when you feel sleepy and when you feel alert. As we get older, this trusty old clock has a natural tendency to start running a little fast. Scientists call this advanced sleep phase syndrome, but I prefer to call it your internal time shift. You find your eyelids getting heavy at 8:30 p.m., whereas you used to be in the middle of your favorite movie. You doze off in your armchair and decide to turn in for the night at 9 p.m. And here's the key. If you go to bed at 9 p.m., your body considers that the start of a full 7 to 8 hour sleep cycle. Do the math. 9 p.m. plus 7 hours is 4 a.m. plus 6 hours is 3 a.m. So when you wake up at 3 a.m. feeling refreshed and like you've had a full night's sleep, the truth is you have according to your body's new schedule. Your sleep isn't broken, it has simply been rescheduled. Consider Patricia, a retired school teacher. When she was working, she'd be up until 11 p.m. grading papers. But now, her home is quiet. Dinner is at 6, her favorite show is over by 8, and by 8:30, the silence of the evening is a sweet lullaby. She falls asleep early and wakes up at 3 a.m. confused. She feels guilty for not being able to sleep in. This schedule shift is reinforced by our lifestyle changes. The exhausting commutes, the late meetings, the long social gatherings are gone. The external cues that once anchored our body clock to a later schedule have disappeared. Our bodies, left to their own devices, revert to a more primal rhythm, one that's closer to the sun, going to sleep when it gets dark and waking before the dawn. So how do we negotiate with this internal time traveler? Use light strategically. Light is the most powerful tool for setting your internal clock. Get bright light exposure in the morning to reinforce the wake-up signal. Conversely, keep your evening light dim and warm, but try to stay up in that light a little longer, maybe until 9:30 or 10 p.m., to gently push your bedtime back. A smart evening snack. Sometimes a small snack that combines a protein and a complex carb about an hour before bed can help maintain blood sugar and prolong sleep. A piece of whole wheat toast with a little peanut butter is a great choice. Create an engaging evening. Instead of letting the evening fade into silence, create gentle stimulation. Schedule a phone call with your kids. Play a game of cards. Read a gripping chapter of a mystery novel, or listen to an interesting podcast. This light mental engagement can help you keep alert a little longer, naturally. The message here is your body is not wrong. It's just on a different schedule. By understanding it and making gentle adjustments, you can sync your internal clock with the life you want to live.
The body's midnight whispers. When health issues knock on the door. Sometimes the knock on the door at 3 a.m. doesn't come from the brain, but from the body itself, This is the third message, a gentle reminder of the physical changes we're navigating. As we age, our bodies collect stories, and some of those stories are told through aches and discomforts that are easy to ignore during the day. In the daytime, when our minds are occupied, we might not notice the dull ache in our back or the stiffness in our knee. But at 3 a.m., in the profound silence, these whispers become clear voices. The pain from arthritis, after hours of lying still, can become just sharp enough to pull you from sleep. Acid reflux can silently creep up, causing a discomfort in your throat that wakes you. And of course, there's that frequent visitor for many, especially gentlemen, the need to use the restroom. As we age, the bladder loses some of its elasticity, and our kidneys can produce more urine at night. This isn't necessarily a sign of disease, it's a normal part of the aging process. But every trip from the bed to the bathroom, however short, is a disruption. It breaks the sleep cycle, taking you from deep rest to light awareness, and getting back to sleep can be a challenge. We also have to talk about our silent partners, medications. Those pills for blood pressure, heart health, or pain management, they are lifesavers, but they can come with side effects like frequent urination, dry mouth, muscle cramps, or changes in body temperature. You may have never connected the pill you take after dinner with your 3 a.m. wake-up call. Let's hear Eleanor's story. At 76, she began waking up like clockwork at 3:30 a.m. She chalked it up to just getting old. But after months of this, she decided to keep a journal. What she ate, what she drank, when she took her meds, and when she woke up. When she took this journal to her doctor, they discovered together that adjusting the timing of one of her medications could make all the difference. By taking it in the morning instead of the evening, her nightly trips to the bathroom decreased dramatically, and her sleep became more consolidated. The message here is incredibly important. Your body is communicating with you. 1. Become a health detective. Keep a sleep journal. Note not just your sleep times, but also physical symptoms, medication timing, and daily activities. This data is gold when you talk to your doctor. 2. Have an open conversation with your doctor. Don't just say, "I have insomnia." Be specific. "Doc, I wake up at 3 a.m. because my back hurts," or "I'm getting up 3 times a night to urinate." This helps your doctor find the root cause, not just prescribe a sleeping pill. 3. Optimize your comfort. Would a new pillow that better supports your neck help? A mattress topper to relieve pressure on your hips? Elevating the head of your bed slightly to reduce reflux? Small physical changes can make a world of difference to your rest. The body's whisper at 3 a.m. is not a complaint, it's an invitation. An invitation to listen more closely, to care for yourself more wisely, and to be an active partner in
The
your
rhythm
own health.
of your day. How your daily habits write your nightly story. Our fourth message is perhaps the one over which we have the most control. It speaks a simple truth. How we live our days determines how we sleep our nights. Our daily habits and rhythms, no matter how small they seem, are quietly writing the script for our slumber. When we retire, or as life slows down, our rhythms change dramatically. Think about it. Dinner might be at 5:30 p.m. instead of 7:30 p.m.
Physical activity might decrease. The mental challenges of a career are replaced by more peaceful days. These changes, while often welcome, send a whole new set of signals to our internal clock. Take that early dinner, for instance. While good for digestion, it can lead to a slight dip in blood sugar in the middle of the night. Your body might not register this as hunger, but the dip is enough to trigger a small stress response, releasing cortisol and adrenaline, and poof, you're awake. Then there's the issue of activity. A sedentary day with little natural light exposure fails to build up strong sleep pressure. Sleep pressure is like inflating a balloon all day. By night, your body is desperate to release the air in a deep and satisfying sleep. If the balloon is only half inflated, you might fall asleep easily, but the sleep is shallow and easily disturbed. And let's be honest about naps. A 20-minute power nap in the early afternoon can be a wonderful thing. But a 2-hour snooze in the recliner at 4 p.m.? That's like eating a large appetizer right before a gourmet dinner. It takes the edge off your sleep hunger for the night. Let's look at Walter, 74. After retiring, he reveled in his unstructured days. Dinner at 5, a little evening news, and he'd often doze off in his favorite chair before 8 p.m. He went to bed early and, not surprisingly, woke up at 3 a.m., puzzled. Walter didn't realize his entire routine had shifted forward by a few hours. After some reflection, Walter started making small, intentional adjustments. Schedule activity and light. He started taking a brisk 30-minute walk every afternoon, not just for the exercise, but to soak up the natural light. This helped solidify the wake signal to his brain. Restructure his evenings. Instead of dozing, he dedicated that time to his model airplane hobby, which required focus and good light. He also pushed his dinner back a bit to 6:30 p.m. The no naps after 3 p.m. rule. If he felt tired, he'd get up and walk around the block or call a friend, rather than surrendering to a nap. The message is that you are the conductor of your own daily symphony. The choices you make at 2 p.m. profoundly affect how you feel at 2 a.m. By building a day with more structure, with physical activity, mental stimulation, light exposure, and consistent meal times, you are creating a powerful, unambiguous rhythm for your body. You're telling it, this is time for living, and that is time for resting. And your body, when given clear signals, will respond with deeper, more peaceful
The Council
sleep.
of the Mind, your emotional and spiritual midnight meetings. And now, we arrive at our final message, the deepest and perhaps most elusive one. Sometimes, the reason we awaken at 3 a.m. has nothing to do with melatonin or our bladder. It has to do with our heart and our soul. This is the hour when the Council of the Mind convenes. When we're younger and consumed by careers, family, and endless responsibilities, we have little time for stillness. We push complex emotions, unresolved grief, and unanswered questions into a back room of the mind. But as life slows, especially in the dead of night, when all distractions fade, the door to that room creaks open. At 3 a.m., in the vast silence, these visitors begin to speak. It might be a regret over a word left unsaid, the grief over the loss of a spouse or a dear friend which still aches, a worry for the future of your grandchildren, or sometimes it's a subtle loneliness, not a painful one, but a profound awareness of the quiet in the house. This isn't the acute anxiety of youth. It's quieter, more reflective. It's like a subterranean river running beneath the surface of your daily life, and only in the stillness of night can you hear its gentle murmur. The mind, no longer occupied, begins its important work, reviewing a life, making sense of it, and healing old wounds. Think of Arthur, a man who built a successful business from scratch. By day, he's sharp and decisive, but at 3 a.m., he often lies awake, not thinking of contracts, but of an argument he had with his son years ago. Or Gloria, 80 and widowed. Her days are filled with gardening and video calls, but at night she awakens with sweet memories of her late husband, and with them a deep, tender ache of missing him. At first, they both saw this as a sleep problem, but gradually they came to see it as a call from the heart. It wasn't asking for a solution, it was asking for a listener. So what do we do when the council of the mind convenes? We can't banish them. Instead, we can offer them a seat. Dialogue with the silence. Instead of fighting the wakefulness, try accepting it. Get up, make a cup of non-caffeinated herbal tea, and just sit with the darkness. Listen to your thoughts without judgment. Write it out. Keep a small notebook and pen by your bed. When a thought, a memory, or a worry arises, write it down. The act of moving it from your head to the page has a remarkably freeing power. You don't need to write an essay. Just a few words will do. Practice gratitude and grace. In that quiet moment, think of 3 things you are grateful for. Or practice forgiveness for others, and more importantly, for yourself, for what you perceive as past failings. Acknowledge the feeling. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to simply say to yourself, "Ah, there's that feeling of worry again," or "I see you, loneliness." Acknowledging it without resistance can often soften its grip. The message here is that the human heart doesn't keep a schedule. It needs to be heard. Waking at 3 a.m. may not be a sleep disruption, but a sacred opportunity to connect with your own depths, to honor the wisdom you've gathered, and to offer yourself a measure of grace. It is a sign of a life
conversation
fully
today. I hope you can look at your 3 a.m. awakenings in a new light. Not the harsh glare of a nuisance, but the soft glow of understanding. Whether it's a chemical change, a shifting clock, a whisper from your body, the rhythm of your habits, or a meeting of your soul, each reason is a piece of the intricate and beautiful puzzle of who you are at this stage of your life. They are not signs of failure, but evidence of adaptation, of life, of a body and mind still working to communicate with you. The greatest lesson here is to listen. Listen with curiosity instead of judgment. Listen with compassion instead of frustration. You hold the power to turn these sleepless nights into opportunities to care for yourself more deeply, to live more intentionally, and to greet each morning with a greater sense of peace and understanding. Thank you for spending your valuable time with Senior Wise Journey. I would love to hear your story. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today. Your wisdom is an inspiration to us all. If you found this video helpful, please show your support by giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with someone you think might need to hear this message. Your support helps us continue to create meaningful content. Wishing you restful nights and bright days. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.